Hi, this is Ardene. In this video we're going to do a single crochet. I'd like you to start out by doing a chain of 11. And I'd like you to notice the very first chain. If this one doesn't match the size of the other ones, if it's a lot smaller, I'd like you to rip it all out and start over. This is the chain that's the hardest to get through on row 1, the foundation row. So with 11 on the chain, I'd like you to go through with the hook the second loop from the hook. The one on the hook doesn't count. This would be number 1 and this would be number 2. Go through that from the back, pull some yarn through that hole, through that chain, and you'll have 2 on your hook. Yarn over, point your hook downward, and draw it through the 2 loops. Move to the next chain over, stick your hook through from the back, draw some yarn through that chain, making sure you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, point your hook downward, and draw it through both loops. At any point in the video, you can go ahead and shut it off and start when you're ready to start back up. Now the last chain is a little bit hard to get through sometimes. If it's a little bit small, just go ahead and force your hook through, draw the yarn through, making sure you have 2 chains on your 2 loops on your hook, and yarn over and draw it through both. We just finished row 1. Starting row 2, we chain 1. Remember, that's yarn over, point the hook down, and draw through the loop. What we just did is made the height of row 2. Flip your work so that your work is on the left side. Putting your hook through the first single crochet of the previous row. From the top, you can see there that my hook is underneath 2 strands of yarn. As you can see, the top of this row looks like a row of chains. Making sure it's under both, pull from the back some yarn through the hole, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, draw through both. Moving over to the next one. And we'll work all the way down to the end. Now at the end of this very first second row, it's a little bit tricky. So I want to show you the last 2 single crochets. From the side it looks like this. We'll go through this hole and this hole. From the top it looks like this one and this one. You might be tempted to also do this one, but it's not the top of the single crochet, it's actually the side of the single crochet. So let's only do the last 2 and not add another one to it. Now in the last row, make sure you get under both of them. Sometimes it's a little hard to on the very last one because you're not holding on to very much material here. Finish your single crochet and then chain 1 to start row 3. I'm going to undo that last chain and purposely do 1 more stitch, but this time in the side of the previous row single crochet. And then I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right, if you can see, row 1 is here. This is row 2, and it's starting to get a little bit wider. So if you continue on in this direction of your work and add more on, and your work starts to get wider and wider, that means that you're probably adding 1 more stitch into the side of the single crochet of the previous row. So if you see you're doing that, go ahead and take it out. Yarn over, draw through the loop for chain 1, flip your work, go into the first hole next to that, all right. So finish the next row, this row, by doing exactly as we did on row 2. Looking at the top, this is the second last stitch, and this is the last one. From the side, this is the last stitch, sorry, second last, and this is the last stitch, making sure you go under both strands of yarn. And don't be tempted to go to the side, because this does look like the top, but it's not quite, it's the side. And after you do that last single crochet, chain 1, flip your work, and just keep going.